J. Worrall and modern historical adventure novels. Hi, I'm Gary Lugisi, and this time we're going to take a look at the books of J. Worrall and the modern historical adventure novels, which is a series of books by many famous authors. You have the Hornblower books by Horatio Hornblower books by C.S. Forester. You have the Simon Scarrow's Macro and Cato series during the ancient Roman Empire. You have Bernard Cornwell Sharp books during the Napoleonic era on land, and Patrick O'Brien's Jack Aubrey books during the Napoleonic era, like Hornblower during in the naval action of the time. You have George MacDonald Fraser's Flashman books, many others. I collect these books. I read them all. I've read many of them many times. And as a person who loves historical adventure novels, I'm always looking for more and better stuff to read. And the thing is that these are not just historical novels, because a lot of them they're called historical novels, and they are lumped in with all historical novels per se, but they're not. These are historical adventure fiction, and I think that's a separate genre. These books follow the career and adventures of one hero, or maybe one or two heroes together, who through various wars and travails rise up, and they become lieutenants or captains or admirals or whatever it is in the Navy, or captains in the Army, it is set in a truly historical, accurate background. And the thing is that these books, they continue, and there's many books in the series, so the character continues. He gets older, or she gets older, and things happen in their lives, and it's like you get to know these people, and you get to take a look back into the past of some of these battles and during the Napoleonic era, or the Roman Empire, or the Civil War, or whatever it might be, to get a real feel for what it was like back then. And you get to know these heroes and the people that they interacted with. So these are really good stories. I wrote a book, Modern Historical Adventure Novels, about these books a few years ago. And I've even, because I liked them so much, I've written my own. I've written two books in the Sicilian series, set during the reign of Augustus in ancient Rome. And actually, I just completed the third book in that series. And there's, if you're interested in those, finding out about them, there's previous videos that we've done on those. And when the third book is out in the Sicilian series, there'll be a video on that. But what I want to showcase now are the books of J. Worrall. These are terrific books set in the time of the Napoleonic era, actually a little bit before, during Revolutionary France. The first book in the series from 2005 is Sails on the Horizon. And from 2006, the second book is Any Approaching Enemy. These are the stories of Charles Edgewater, a young man who becomes from a midshipman to a lieutenant in the British Navy, and he starts off in this book. It's an incredible beginning to a series, because it's a very famous naval battle, and the first 100 pages describes that battle in breathtaking detail. You'll see everything that goes on in a ship during battle, giant ships of the line and frigates bombarding each other. You get to know the men that are on the ship, and how they deal with each other, how they deal with sailing and the rigging and the lookout, the sails, the strategy and tactics of fighting, the cannons, and everything that's involved in sailing a ship in that era. And it's just amazing, and it's very, very accurately done. Jay Worrall is a masterful writer. He puts you right there in the middle of the battle, or in Charles Edgewater's head. You get to see what he's thinking, what's going on, all the different ramifications of the decisions he has to make as a lieutenant or a captain, and dealing with other, not only with the men that you're dealing with, but and the enemy, but also the other officers that you have. Some of them are good and reliable and they're friends, and others are cutthroat and backstabbing, and there's all kinds of treachery and betrayal and then friendship and loyalty in these stories. So it's really, really amazing and really interesting. One of the things that also is attractive about these books is the cover art. A lot of them use classic paintings of actual battles for the cover art, and other ones, these are that, and then others use modern artists who paint in the classical style, showing battles. So, like on Sails on the Horizon, the cover painting is by Gilbert. It's naval combat scene, and it's between a French ship and 3 frigates at Cadiz in 1801. And you see these are wraparound covers, and this gives you an idea of kind of the battle and what went on. And Jay Worrall puts you right in this scenario. He puts you right on these ships, or on this ship, or climbing up the rigging all the way to the top mast to try and see where the enemy ships are, and to tell what, if they're friend or foe, or what's going on. It's amazing. It's really amazing, and some of the artwork is what also attracted me to these books anyway, and attracts a lot of readers. There's no coincidence that they put these kind of classic paintings on these covers. There's no different than the books of Edgar Rice Burroughs or Robert E. Howard. They're Robert E. Howard's Conan books, or Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan and John Carter of Mars books that were illustrated by Frank Frazetta. You have a masterful, perfect artist illustrating a perfect hero in a book, and these are the same way. Any Approaching Enemy is the second book in the series from 2006. And in this one, you have the painting is by Chambert, and it's the bombardment of Algiers that took place in 1816. And here you have that whole scenario of the ships bombing the port of Algiers in North Africa. And it's just, these books place you right into that painting, right into those ships, to see what's going on. I mean, if you like Master and Commander, the movie, or Gladiator, the movie, that will give you an idea of what modern historical fiction, adventure fiction is about. And it's the adventure. And George MacDonald Fraser's Flashman books, all of them. And these books by Jay Worrall, the Charles Edgemont series, fit in perfectly. In the first book, there's an incredible battle scene that goes on for about 100 pages. It is incredible. It just shows everything about what naval warfare was in those days between fleets that were giant ships of the line, 74, 110-gun cannon ships, and it's truly amazing and really, really well done. He's an excellent writer. Jay Worrall is a Quaker who was born during World War II, and he was born into a military family which seems to be a contradiction, but because Quakers are peaceful and nonviolent, and he is, of course, but he did serve his country, and he served it in a nonviolent capacity. And in that part of his life comes through in these books also, because Captain Edgemont, who is a very decent, intelligent, young, ambitious lieutenant and captain, meets a woman named Penelope, or Penny, who happens to be a Quaker woman. And their relationship is very interesting, because she sees, at first, when she realizes he's a Navy captain of a warship, that he's, you know, almost like the devil to her, because he's killing people, he's fighting wars, it's violent. She's like so totally the opposite. So their relationship, and it's a good, loving one, is very interesting how it works out, and the kind of woman that she is, and she's a very tough woman, and she's a good companion for him. They're very interesting adventures that they have. When I wrote my book on modern historical adventure novels in 2006, these two had been out, and they were listed in the book, but this one hadn't. So after once I read these, I'm always looking for new books to read in the genre, and I says, okay, let me try these. I read these recently, and I says, wow, they're terrific. Just like I read the books by Russell of the Captain Hayden series of 4 books, which I did in a previous video. So I wanted to do a video on these 3 books because they're just so terrific. And if you like the Forrester books, Hornblower, if you like any of the books in historical adventure fiction, you're going to love these. And so I read the first 2, and I said, my God, they're great. They're just incredible. I love them. And I said, I wanted to see if J. Worrall wrote any others. And I was happy and sad to find out that, yes, he did write one more book in 2013, but that seems to be the only book of this trilogy. And that's the last book from 2013, is A Sea Unto Itself. And it's the 3rd book in the series. And you can see the difference in this is a different publisher. You can see the difference in the way that they did the artwork. Here it's classical military paintings, paintings of military actions and activities and battles. This is a more modern painting. They has the battle there, but there's the woman of, you know, a larger image. Almost kind of looks like a romance. And in some ways it is, because there is a romance in this. He meets another woman, and there's a whole bunch of spies. She's a spy, and there's spies and things going on that you know, you get a kick out of it, because there's always like interesting aspects to the story. But so this is the 3rd and last book in the series. Let me show you a picture of Jay. I tried to get in touch with him, but I couldn't get through, and I just hope that he will write another book. Here's a picture of him. He's a very, very good writer of this kind of fiction. Terrific, terrific. And just, if you love Hornblower books, or the Patrick O'Brian books, or the Bernard Cornwell, or any of those historical adventure writers, you're going to love these books.
Didn't you want to tell us something about...
Yes! I wanted to tell you something, because I forgot this before, when I did the first video, and we had to junk it, and then I did this one.
They didn't know about that video.
I didn't know. They don't know about that. But anyway. So what happened is that this, I forgot like my note for this. The thing is, J. Worrall, in a tip of the hat to other famous authors in the genre, has a cameo appearance in each one of his books. In the first book, Sails on the Horizon, you have a young midshipman appear for a page or two, Midshipman Horatio Hornblower. So he's in Sails on the Horizon. In the second book, Any Approaching Enemy, you have a cameo by a young naval lieutenant, Jack Aubrey, who was created by Patrick O'Brien. And in this book, the third book, you have a cameo by Lieutenant Nathan Drinkwater, who is the hero of a series of very good books, Napoleonic Era, again, by Richard Woodman. So you can see that Mr. Worrall has given proper kudos to the other people who have written in this genre and also in this time period, because all of these Horatio Hornblower, Lieutenant Aubrey, and Nathan Drinkwater, they took place kind of in this era when these books of his took place. So it's interesting that you would maybe meet in 1799, maybe meet a young midshipman, Mr. Hornblower, or maybe later on, a couple of years later, a Lieutenant Jack Aubrey before he became captain. And so, you know, these it's just a nice, respectful way of, you know, kind of like what the British used to do when they used to put their knuckle to the forehead to salute the captain. So I salute you, J. Worrall, for doing that, giving props to those guys, and for doing these books, because they are really, really good. If you guys, I'm telling you, one of the reasons I do this video is two things. One is to show you out-of-print, rare, classic, cool books that you might not know about. The other thing is to tell you about books that I've read that you got to read. You just got to read. I'm not really good at describing stuff, as you probably know. I mean, my videos are, I'm not a talker, I'm a writer. So when I just say something is really, really good, you gotta take my word for it. These are terrific, and you will not be disappointed. If you're a Hornblower or a Fraser fan, whatever, you're gonna love these. So kudos to J. Worrall, and kudos to the Captain Charles Edgemont series of 3 books. I hope that he will write another one. And with that, I'll knuckle my head in salute and say thanks for looking, and see you next time.